what's supposed to go in it. So
Yeah.
what kinds of things do we put in our business plan?
Well, you know what? I actually have in front of me a beautiful example of a one-page business plan that I think everybody could handle. Basically in 5 different segments. You have the vision, maybe like a small statement on the vision, mission, then set some objectives, what you would like for the upcoming year, and with some strategies on specific targets and things you want to do, and then put an action plan together. And those could be in different points and quantify them with a timeline, you know. So you set the goals and then put some dates to it, and there you have. I mean, that's a very simplified version of a business plan. Sometimes, again, when you're a startup business, I think a business plan is an excellent tool. It really gets you thinking about the direction you want to take your business. You could set some milestone goals as well. Celebrate the milestones. You certainly set those targets at the start of any new business. So
Now, how often should you be doing your business plan? Do you sort of revisit it once a year, or do you just start from scratch again, or what do you think?
I tend to revisit on an annual basis. And then I use my financial statements as a guide as well, sometimes too, to compare to the previous year.
Right.
And just see where you can make some changes for the following year. Maybe you want to add some more revenue streams. So there's certain things. I find business, in any business, really can evolve. And as Donna Douglas would say, make sure you have multiple streams of income.
Oh, yes, yes. So you've got all those columns in your ledger book, your 36 column ledger book, right? Just in case you're going to move into something else. And that should actually be all on your business plan, ideally, right? Right, okay. So Alan, let's talk about something very important, and that's dealing with the CRA and how to go about dealing with the CRA. So you, as a former CRA employee and a tax accountant, what would be your tips on somebody that's been contacted or who's going to be audited, or how do we go about handling that?
With everyone being perhaps on the modern electronic age, I think we're all expecting instant responses, and so I think we can all appreciate how frustrating it must be to send a text or an email or a letter and not get a response, or make a phone call. And the CRA is not any different. They have a very important role to ensure the viability of our national social support. They're looking at approximately $520 billion a year of tax revenues. So in those tax revenues, there's obviously some shortfalls, and so they follow up. For the most part, the CRA will, I should say for the most part, they're always willing to negotiate something that's reasonable, equitable. But if you avoid them and continue avoiding them, well, I think you've lost all those opportunities, and they will take aggressive measures. And they have, I've seen it, they've escalated their aggressive measures. And so I never thought CRA was something to fear, but I think there's a deep respect now that I think we should consider. So my best tip is respond in a timely fashion, work with them in a reasonable fashion, and don't necessarily pay, though, everything you receive.
Okay.
Question.
Yes,
question.
exactly. If they come at you with something saying you owe this or you owe that, I guess, investigate where this is coming from.
And it's a good point, because the collections department has the ability to create what they call notionals in the absence of an actual return. And therefore now it makes it collectible. So they will go after what they perceive to be a collectible amount, and for the most part the collections department will not have any knowledge of how true in the details.
Right. Okay.
And so it's then it's really in your best interest then to question, where does this debt come from?
Right.
How is it calculated? Or perhaps I did forget.
Yes.
So that's an arbitrary assessment you're talking about, where you haven't reported and they can just assess you on what they think.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what I was getting at, was that, how do they come up with that, and what is your recourse?
Well, first of all, the section of the Income Tax Act, 152, they'll quote it every time, saying that's their right, and they do have a right to do that. And of course, I think it's better than being imprisoned, because that's their other option, is either they file an arbitrary or they throw you in prison.
Well, okay, let's
they
not
apprehend
go.
you. So let's not go there.
Yeah.
Right? So I appreciate the arbitrary assessment. It gets your
Yes.
attention. The recourse is to file an actual return to replace the arbitrary assessment.
Right.
Now realize that anywhere where you thought you might have been able to sneak an expense here and there, everything will be under scrutiny at that point.
Okay, so if
And,
they've caught you once, basically, everything that you submit is going to be gone
Well,
over
in
with a
replacement of
fine-tooth
the
comb.
arbitrary assessment, absolutely will be scrutinized
Right.
as to reasonability.
Okay. Now, what are I don't know if you know the exact amount or percentage, but are they wrong very often with their, when they say that you've underreported or you've made an error and you owe them money? How often are they actually in fact wrong?
I can't say the numbers are generally always accurate. I think they aim very high.
Okay.
They're basing it on your history.
Right.
And so someone in 2007 might have had a great history up to that point, hit the recession, took a slump, but is still having an arbitrary assessment based on profitable years. Again, it really is it's a guess, it's an estimate that they're doing, and so you can't fault them for that. The fact of the matter is you had an opportunity to file it. Avoid that
Right.
nasty part of that relationship.
Right.
And it's
okay.
up to you to supply the supporting documents to prove the actual amount that you should remit.
Right.
Yeah, CRA is not to be messed with, I can tell you that. I've seen them seize bank accounts.
Okay.
And they will just keep drawing down the bank account until they collect.
they're paid back with penalties, of course, on what they owe.
Of course.
Wow. Okay. Well, we are actually out of time for tonight, unfortunately. This is a great information that you guys have provided me with. I did want to ask you, though, each of you, what you would consider to be, Michelle, we'll start with you, the most important piece of advice that you would give somebody that's a business owner or somebody starting a business pertaining to, bookkeeping services. What would you
Certainly.
say?
Well, again, I would certainly recommend that you put together some form of record keeping and organized records and outsource that task so that you can focus all your energy on your business, not in your business, because
Right.
really you want to grow your business, you want to be successful.
Right.
These kind of tasks are very important, but if you can do it, please outsource it.
Right, because somebody like yourself obviously
We work with
knows
it.
all the rules and you know exactly what you're doing.
Right.
Alan, same question for you. What would be your most important piece of advice?
Being the tax man will not make you profitable.
Okay.
Watching your bottom line, good accurate books and records, a good team of professionals that can help you with that,
Right.
like Michelle and myself,
Right.
will help you make you very profitable.
Okay, excellent. Okay, back to you, Michelle. Any activities or seminars or workshops or anything that you're doing?
No activities. I just wanted to mention that although I have been working with personal tax in the last few years, I work with a few accountants over the last couple of years doing taxes in the tax season. I've also decided to offer that as another service in my own business this year.
Okay,
So
and how do we get in touch with you?
you can reach us either by email, michelle@ateffiaccounting.com, or you can call me at 705-727-2973, and we'd be glad to help you out.
Perfect. Alan, how about yourself? Any activities that you've got going on?
At this point, I don't have any events planned, although they are stated on the website, and so if anyone's interested, they can advise me, and I'll carry an interest list.
And how do we get in touch with you?
705-503-8221, or go and find me on Lloyd's Management Services. And again, I'm willing to work with anyone as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you both so much for joining me on the show tonight. Alan Lloyd of Lloyd's Management Accounting Services and Michelle Ateffi of Ateffi Accounting and Bookkeeping, Inc. And thank you very much. That's our show for tonight. And thank you for joining us tonight on Your Business with Charmaine on Rogers TV. And please do join us again. Thank you and have a good night.